In N.V.M. Gonzalez's Spring by the Seaside, what is the dominant element of the physical setting? What sensation does it evoke? How is this sensation important to the events of the story? This item tests the test maker's ability to perceive how setting creates a mood or atmosphere for the story. Note that if the item is presented this way, then it is presumed that the text has been studied in class. All that the test taker does is recall the points discussed. This is a drawback of using scene text in literature tests. An alternative would be to use an extract of the text as stimulus. The test takers then answer the questions using the extract. This way, the item evokes or activates the test taker's interpretation skills. The item just shown to you requires subjective scoring. In many instances, objective items are used to test literary skills. For example, the ability to infer setting, that is, place, time, season, age, or era. Take a look at these examples. He dug from the Pacom the measure of his body from head to foot, 3 ashun of land and no more. What did the man dig? A pit. B, a plot. C, a well. D, a grave. This item calls for a close reading for details. Hence, it is necessary that the passage contains enough cues to enable the test taker to make logical inferences. Let us look at another example. This time, the test type is the master list or key list. Directions. Identify the era or age described in the lines quoted after every number. Choose your answers from the key list in the box. You may use the same answer several times. Write only the letter of your answer on your answer sheet. 1. My fathers write their names in sweat on forest and on farming land. 2. My brothers wrote their names in sweat and steel. Huge buildings rose at their desire. 3. Was this release of the basic energy of matter an event over which we should rejoice, or should we tremble with apprehension that man had at last let out of the bottle an evil genie to be tamed? A. Stone Age. B. Agricultural age. C. Industrial era. D. Atomic age. E. Space age. As in previous items, see to it that sufficient clues are provided in its stimulus to enable the testees to make logical inferences. Furthermore, care should be taken that the text do not directly mention the options given in the key list. Another skill very often included in literature tests is determining sensory impressions. Let us look at some examples. Here is a matching type test. Directions. Match each of the phrases under column A with the appropriate dominant sensory impression listed under column B. Write the letter of your answer before each number. Column A. Number 1, the hollow whizzed overhead. 2, were portrayed like an old cheese. 3, scurry to and fro. 4, rattling peal of thunder. 5, the guttural twang of the bullfrog. Column B. A, touch. B, smell. C, sight. D, taste. E, hearing. F, motion. In constructing sensory impression items, avoid lines or phrases that include obvious words that give away the answers. Another technique in testing determining sensory impressions is to quote a passage followed by several other passages. The examinee picks out the passage that does not create the same sensory impression as the model. Let's look at this example. Directions. Read the phrase after its number and the other phrases that follow. Select the phrase that does not appeal to the same sense as the numbered phrase. Circle the letter of your answer. 1. Long lenses gleamed in the bright sun. A. Wit sparkled and bubbled. B. Feet caked with mud. C. Eyes flashed in great anger. D. Cataracts and rapids sparkled. Note that long lenses gleamed in the bright sun appeals to the sense of sight. All the options appeal to the sense of sight except letter A. Ordinarily, sparkled and bubbled are clues that the dominant sensory impression is sight. But in this context, wit does not create a visual impression. Hence, if you are to construct items of this type, it is necessary that the structure contains words that ordinarily appeal to the intended sensory impression but actually does not because of the context.